Hey, everyone, it's Isaiah. Welcome. So, this is another one of my podcast episodes, the famous, if I say so myself, Isaiah's Inspiring Evening Podcasts. And this is actually a new series. So, today, Chloe Myers is the first guest of a series called She Rises Anyway. And it's a series of raw, real, and fiercely honest conversation about what it means to rise from the ashes again and again. We talk survival, resilience, reclaiming power over a world that often tries to silence or break us. We talk abuse, justice, addiction, feminism, and the quiet or wilder ways that women rise, scarred, sovereign, and still soft. These conversations, as per usual, are recorded live, seldom edited, and then shared in my podcast. And obviously anywhere else where the guest feels like sharing. So before we go further along, let me say hi, Chloe. And let me go about and read your bio. So Chloe Myers is a transformational coach who helps women entrepreneurs lead with strong boundaries, real balance, and unapologetic brilliance. She will show you how to take your cape off, and that is the title of this episode. How to stop swooping in like a hero every time someone asks for help, even when it means dropping what you were doing or overstepping your own boundaries, so that you can truly empower others to be independent and still credit you with their transformation without burning yourself out. With a rich background in coaching vulnerable communities and training health coaches, Chloe brings deep emotional intelligence and strategic clarity to her work. Her signature CAPE framework guides ambitious women to reclaim their power, speak up with confidence, and grow businesses that feel just as good as they look. Chloe's mission is simple: help the helpers help themselves. Ooh, simple mission, tongue twister for me. So they can keep making a difference without losing themselves in the process. So voila, that's the program. And it seems like rather big one. Because the heroes with their capes are all over, and the heroines with many more capes seem indeed to be all over. So I'm so glad we get to talk because we met kind of in a weird setting and we kind of bypassed each other. So I'm really happy that we actually get to talk for real and I get to know what you do. So, do you want to tell everybody how we met, or should I do that?
So we met at the Women Only Wellness or WOW Festival up north, which I thought I was one of the people that had travelled the furthest, but you kind of trumped me on that one. So I'd come up from Devon, and
Yeah,
I
because just when she says the north, we mean the north of the UK. Because this is
yes,
a podcast that gets listened all over. So,
yeah, Northern UK, yeah,
I'm just,
northeast.
we did not do a festival in Greenland. We might, but
No,
not
well,
this year.
maybe one day. So and on the first night there was an open mic night, and you got up, and I think there are lots of brilliant acts, but you got up, and I think you just blew everybody away because you were just hilarious, and I think so. You were someone that really stuck in my mind. Like I want to see what she's about, and then you did your talk, and I think um, I had done a workshop in the sun because it had been really windy and we didn't have tents to go under because they kept flying away. And I'd done a workshop in the sun and got very sunburnt, and I needed to go and retreat to my tent and have a bit of a
Wow.
snooze. So I missed it and I was gutted. But it was, just what a great weekend. Just meeting amazing people, making some amazing connections, and just
Absolutely.
chilling out.
Absolutely. An amazing weekend, by the way, listeners, dear listeners. This happens every year at the end of June. So look around for information. It's called the WOW Gathering. And I might stick down a link for that at the end of the podcast description. And I forgot to say, so let me catch up with that. That of course you can find anything about Chloe below, above, or around the video or the audio, wherever this podcast is shared. I never know because it gets shared on so many places then, and I don't know where the links are, but they will be in there. So if you want to work with Chloe, go on and find those links and click on them. So yeah, we met there, and actually we did not meet. And then I missed your talk,
Yeah.
but I was so excited because of, other scheduling. But I was really excited because you were the only one, I think, in the whole thing, who I thought, hey, she dared to come with a cape and did the thing. And so I was like, what's this cape thing? So I'm really happy that we get to talk about this. Um, so you work with people who help too much, right? Um, does that come up from any kind of personal experience? Were you that person?
I mean, aren't we all? Especially like as women and mums. I'm a sandwich carer as well, so I've got a son with
A
special
sandwich
education.
carer?
Yeah, so a sandwich carer is someone that is
Pretend
caring
I don't
for
speak English.
children. Yeah, you're caring for children and caring for parents at the same time, and
Oh, so
usually
you're in the
working as
sandwich.
well. Yeah, you're in the middle of the sandwich, like looking after
Okay.
everyone. So yeah, so I care for my dad, and my son has special educational needs, so I not so much anymore. He is going to college in September, but I home educate him. So I'm squished in the middle of that
Hmm.
sandwich, but also my background is in charities. So working with lots and lots of people who love looking after everybody else. And often, so like the themes within people that work in charities tend to be a lot of people pleasing, poor boundaries, and having a bit of a tough exterior and being finding it very hard to be vulnerable, finding it very hard to ask for help, and finding it very hard to accept help even when you try and do
Push
it for them. So
push it.
um, these are some themes I've come across a lot. And I think that in coaching, you learn to not come in with the advice and the suggestions and doing things for people, not even to come in with empathy and opinions. And I think it's such an important lesson that even if no matter what your job or your business is, that's something that we can all learn from. And if you are a coach, it's often like one of the most important lessons, kind of learning about the drama triangle, which I'm sure we'll get into. But learning
Hmm.
about that can be a real transformational moment and it all clicks, but it's still really hard to implement it and actually stick to it and sit on your hands and bite your tongue and not say, well, like, obviously you just need to do this. It's so simple. Why don't you just do it? So it's all about just really reinforcing that lesson and helping people see how sometimes when you think you're being a hero, the other person actually sees you as a villain because you're kind of calling them out on something they're not ready for. And when that person doesn't follow through on your kind of heroism and take your advice or whatever it might be, that you can start to feel like the victim, like they're so ungrateful. I put all that time into helping them and they've not
Hmm.
even done the thing. So it's about getting out of that triangle, being free and like actually empowering people, not creating more dependence, basically,
Hmm.
actually like helping people help themselves, including
I love
yourself.
that. I love that. And did you learn, because what a bit of what you said is just asking me a little question, so I'm going to go for it. Um, it seems that we can know about things, know as in here in our heads for the people who listen to us and don't see our faces. I suddenly realized we might not be on video. So yeah, sometimes we learn about things, and mostly academic learning when we go and study, read books, blah blah blah. We then know the thing, but it still doesn't apply to our lives. It's like, oh, yeah, I know that, but I don't do it. And it seems like it's stuck in the mind and never gets down into the heart, the body, or whatever you want to call it. And that means that people get stuck with the idea that, but I know this and still it doesn't work. So I was wondering whether in your own experience, personal one, before you started coaching that, did you experience this latency period of I know it, but it still doesn't work?
Yeah, and I mean, like we're all still learning, and there's layers to this, so it still comes up
Yeah.
for me often. There's still times where I want to say, like, you just need to do this, obviously, or like, let me just do that for you, like it will be so much quicker. And
Hmm.
so, like, that's okay and it's normal. So yeah, absolutely,
Yeah, I
it's
remember
just
the as a mom, I remember this terrible moment where your child is trying to do their shoelaces, and you're like, breathe. Of course, I can do it 25 times faster, but if they never actually do it, they're never going to be able to do it. And then where do we end up?
yeah.
I have
So
another
yeah,
very
it's
good
worth
example.
investing that bit
Mm.
of time, even like over and over again, because otherwise and the thing is that when you keep doing it for somebody, you're reinforcing the idea that they're not fast enough, they're not clever enough, they're not good enough, and so they're not even going to try next time, and you're going to get more and more frustrated with them. And then so the idea of this drama triangle, so we've got villain, victim, and hero, and we keep moving around it.
Oops,
So
sorry, stop that. Victim, hero, and villain.
yes,
Sorry, I
yeah,
just, pretend I
yeah,
don't understand anything. So
yeah. So yeah,
that's what I play. I play dummy, so you explain for everyone.
yes,
So
so
victim, hero, villain. That's a
yeah.
drama triangle.
The drama
I
triangle.
love
And
that.
so, like, we know we don't like to be the victim, but some of us can find ourselves there sometimes, like blaming everyone else for our problems rather than taking responsibility. And we know we don't want to be the villain. Like, none of us want to. I'm going to assume that anyone listening to this podcast does not want to be the bad guy. And but we quite like being the hero, if we're really honest. It feels good, doesn't it? Like, to
Yeah,
get that
of course.
gratitude, to feel like you've helped somebody. But actually, it's about that idea that if you are being the hero, you're reinforcing the idea that they are a victim, and you're leaving them there just like waiting to be rescued rather than taking responsibility and going and asking for help. So needing help and being vulnerable and asking for help is okay. That's not being a victim. Being a victim is when you're like, oh, like, woe is me, like the whole world is against me, everything's
Mm,
impossible, I'm stuck here, I'm never gonna succeed, it's all too hard. So that's
mhm.
the victim mindset. And it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy, right? Because if you don't
Yeah,
believe something's possible, then you're not going to waste your time trying.
of course. Yeah, of course. I have another example. I'm very fond of tiny examples. So when my kids were respectively something like 8 and 12, I had my bestie girlfriend was staying at home with her kids, and I was folding laundry and put it back in the drawers of my children. And she turns to me and says, "Oh, you still do that?" I don't. I hang the laundry and then they come and collect it from the hanger, the lines, and put them in their own cupboards. And her children were similarly the same age, and I said, "Yeah, but uh, no, I still do it. I like doing it." And I could hear my voice. The like was not really a true one. And she just turned to me very nicely and said, "Until when?" And that freaked me out. It was like, yeah, obviously. Until when? When is the signal for me to stop? Never.
Yeah.
So until I actually teach myself to stop and teach them how to fold instead of just, you know, doing it for them. And it was like, yeah, because there is no date when this is miraculously going to happen. And this was my turning point, to be honest. And,
Yeah.
tiny thing, laundry, but it's a
Yeah.
weekly thing.
Yeah. And and they could take it as that you're being the hero, but also that you're being the villain. You're not enabling them to show what they can do and be independent. And I think it's about applying this, like, the more examples we can give to it, the better.
Mm,
So another example I would use a lot is alcohol. So if you're feeling sad or shy or bored, then alcohol is like this shiny hero of fun and confidence and
hmm
excitement and escape and freedom. And then by the morning, of course, it's become the villain because you're hungover or you did something you regret or whatever it might be. And so alcohol's a great example, like your phone and social media.
mm,
Again, like
yeah.
similar, it's offering you this freedom from boredom, but then actually, like, then you start beating yourself up because you've been on for so long and you're addicted. So it applied, politics. Another great example is like in-laws. Like, I'm
Mm.
sure everyone could think of an example of where this shows up with in-laws, with like bosses and difficult clients, and it shows up all over the place. And once you start seeing it, it's one of these things again, like awareness is always the first step. So
Yeah.
starting to see it, even if you don't make any changes, is brilliant because you're noticing where it's happening. And then
Yeah.
over time, you will stop and think, okay, how could I handle this differently? How could
Mm.
I try something different and see if I get a different result? So
Yeah.
the more that you can notice it showing up,
Yeah.
and it's actually how you feel about
I actually
housework.
have a follow-up for my story now that I come to think
Mhm.
of it. Because I didn't do anything about my kids and the
Yeah.
laundry thing for a few months or even a year or two. And then one day, my turn, I do that. I just knock on the door, open the door of the room, go, put the things back in the drawers. Coming out of the room, there was no one in that room. I meet my son who was going back to his room. And he literally starts shouting at me, "This is my room. This is my private room. How do you?" So not only was he not in this grateful state that I was hoping for, but he was making me the villain for penetrating his intimacy. And it was like, fuck.
Yeah.
How did
Yeah.
how did I convince myself that this was a freaking good idea? And I think that was the last time.
Yeah,
So,
and then you start to feel like the victim as well,
yeah.
because like, how dare he shout at me when I'm like just doing this
Yeah,
nice
when
little
I'm,
thing? So,
yeah,
yeah,
being such a nice mom.
yeah, yeah, and and then when he moves out and moves in with a girlfriend who like can't believe he can't do his washing, then again you're the villain. Like
Mhm.
you never taught him.
Exactly. Both
Yeah,
him and his girlfriend will turn to me as being the
yeah.
annoying in-law.
Yes, yeah. So, and I think it's really good to see how we are in all three triangles and how we all three corners and how we keep moving. Like it doesn't matter
Hmm.
what the situation is, we will keep switching. And it's just so powerful when once you start noticing it, in every interaction, every relationship you have, you
Hmm.
start to see it showing up, and it is transformative. It helps you see like, oh, okay, how am I causing this situation and keeping myself stuck in it?
Yeah. How am I, playing this game of I'm one of the three and there is no other way. And
Yeah,
so it just goes around in a circle or in a triangle
yeah,
in that state.
yeah, yeah. There's
I love
sharp
that.
corners.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And so an example I would give, like, so, and this is very current. So with caring for my dad, who's in a very bad way at the moment, and in the
So sorry.
past, I might have, oh, thank you. But in the past, I might have got a phone call saying like he's had a fall, and I would instantly drop everything. Doesn't matter if I'm working or I'm with the kids or I'm with friends, I would go straight over there.
Mm.
And again, like there's nothing wrong with doing that. But when it starts happening all the time, you have to be realistic because I don't want to go there feeling resentful and feeling like I'm the victim because like I can't work, I can't earn money, I never get to see my
I don't have
friends.
a life, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah. I don't want to be going there feeling resentful and trying to get out of there as quickly as I can
Yeah.
and getting annoyed with him. I want to be sympathetic and kind and patient and all of those things. So it's about, and I don't want to be the villain and not go at all. So it's about making sure that I do it on my own terms. So going like, is this an actual emergency? Like, is this the 999
Hmm.
situation? Is there anyone else that I can call that could go in my place? And doing it on my own terms. And what that has meant for me at the moment when he is really struggling is just changing some of my, like with my business, for example, just changing some of my goals and expectations so that I
Mm.
can meet them, so that I'm not resentful of him because I'm not meeting them.
Yeah.
And I'm also
Yeah.
not burning myself out, killing myself, trying to meet them alongside caring for him
Yeah. Mm.
because it's emotionally exhausting physically and it's time. So looking at how can I change my own goalposts so that I can give him the care that he needs and that I want to give him, but it's on my own terms.
Yeah.
So I'm not being a victim
Mm.
or a hero or a villain.
Yeah. Mm. Yeah. But it's really tricky to catch yourself or myself, let's put it this way, in the process of the everyday life when that happens. And indeed, there is a situation what you call the sandwich thingy, where women seem to be particularly caught in that triangle where the kids are either special needs or just kids. I mean, like tiny
That's enough,
ones.
right?
Well, when they're tiny, yes,
Yeah.
because they need someone. And most of the time, let's not lie to ourselves, it's the woman, the mother.
Mhm.
And then when you get a little older, like me, parents are, you know, they are on your list, on your to-do list.
Yeah.
And to not be into this, I have to, I need to, and then start resenting the whole situation is quite a challenge indeed for many, many women. At least it is for me, and it was.
Yeah.
My father is now deceased, but my mom is still alive, and she's in a good situation.
Mhm.
But still, there's this part
Yeah.
of, she's 80 something,
Yeah.
and blah, blah, blah. And then my kids are now students. So moving, changing houses, prepping
Mhm.
dorm stuff, etc., etc. So it can be a very, it's a never-ending story, actually.
Yeah.
And for a while, and I think that I would like you to reinforce me on this. For a while, I thought, then I will.
Mhm.
When this or that happens, then I will take care of myself. Then I will have better boundaries. Then I will do this and that. And I realized, and I suppose you will agree with me, that this is bullshit. There is no when. When is now.
Yeah. Yeah. And it is, the whole you can't pour from an empty cup or like put your own oxygen mask on first, because if you are burning yourself out, giving so much to everybody else, then inevitably you're going to burn out so badly that you can't
Mm,
help any of them
yeah,
because you don't have a choice. You have to put
yeah,
yourself first, or other
yeah,
people have to care for you. And so it's really it's so important. And I think there's a big thing as like especially for women that it's we see it as our responsibility, which we might welcome or resent, but we also make it our identity, like, oh, like I'm the one that has to do everything. Like
yeah,
no one can manage without
yeah,
me. I'm like indispensable. And actually
yeah,
we don't see the things that people are capable of doing for themselves, like whether that's
yeah,
children or
yeah,
colleagues or whatever. And because we get such an ego boost out of helping people and
yeah,
feeling
of course.
indispensable. And actually it's like we need to let go of that because it's
Well,
not
we
helping anyone.
I can testify on that because last year I had cancer, and that was the moment when I had to stop, um, and say, no, no, this is not happening. This is me first now.
Yeah.
And one of my mentors wrote a book called Get Selfish, The Ways Through. And
Yes.
it's really about a moment of realization for me that there was not going to be a when or an
Hmm.
if I did not take care of myself today.
Yeah.
And yeah, I was just thinking while you were talking that another thing for which or for who I used to sacrifice is my business itself.
Mm.
So I'll work on my business until exhaustion, until it gets successful. And then one day I realized, but there is no and then, because the and then of that is that if it is successful, it's going to give me more work. So this is ridiculous. I can't just,
Yeah.
so I
Yeah.
have to stop this spiral of more and more and more, and find my own terms, like you were saying.
Yeah.
Whether it's with children, colleagues, parents, my own business, everything. And that is, I feel that I talk with women all the time about this. I mean, in my practice, in my coaching practice, I hear that very, very many times. So now that we have kind of faced the problem,
Mhm.
do you have any solutions?
Yes. So yeah, so I have my
Unless you
cape.
want to, if you want more about, discuss
No,
about
I'm good. No,
this.
I don't like to spend too much time on problems. All about the positives in the future. So I have my cape framework. So the first step is to check your cape. So to like get brutally honest and
Mm,
reflect on where maybe you are giving too much and where you feel responsible. Like, is that true? Like examining some of those beliefs about your
mm,
responsibilities and what you have to do. And like, for example, the number of hours that you put into your business. Like
mm,
it like works, could you work smarter, not harder? Like, are you
mm,
actually doing the things you need to, or are you just keeping yourself busy because you feel like you're supposed to work 9 till 5 to justify not
mm,
having like a job? Um,
mhm,
So and like really brutally honest, like where am I giving? Like where am I being a hero?
Mm-hmm.
And do I actually have to? And then the next one is align with what matters. So this is getting really clear on your vision and what you want more of and what you want less of. And that's what makes those boundaries really clear. Like that's what makes it everything an easy yes or an easy no.
Mm-hmm.
Because
Yeah.
you know what you want more of and what you don't have
Yeah.
time for
Mm-hmm.
anymore. And then P is pass
I
the
love
mic.
this idea of the, sorry, we're going to go, before you go
Mm.
further, I love this idea of the easy yes and the easy no.
Yeah.
Um, and I think that if we can really feel that, even in our gut, that this is an easy yes, of course I'm going to do that. That makes absolute sense. And
Yeah.
feel the absolutely not. This is
Yeah.
not
Yeah.
happening.
If it's not a hell
In
yes, it's
today's
no.
Yeah, exactly. If it's not a hell yes, it's a no. But if it's not a hell no, it's a yes
Yeah.
also,
Yeah.
in the same respect. So I was telling you beforehand, I'm just giving some examples to explain that we're not finished here. So as far as I'm concerned, I spent the weekend with my sons uh, going to a role-playing convention. And that means I have a car and I'm driving, but not every one of their friends or themselves, they're driving. So I did a lot of taxiing. And I ended up taxiing for people at times that were not convenient for me
Mm.
at all. I needed sleep and I had to wake up and go and do taxi. And it really took me 3 days to say, hey, next year, because this is a yearly thing,
Mm.
we're going to have to make it that play differently. Because again, I went and sacrificed myself and played the hero. And they were very grateful, but it's not enough because I'm still lacking the sleep at the minute.
Yeah. And it's
So,
unsafe for you and for them,
yeah.
potentially.
But the gratitude is not enough
Yeah.
of a payment.
Yeah.
Because when I disrespected my own sleeping pattern in that respect, well, I'm now tired and I'm
Yeah.
50 something,
Yeah.
and so I need the rest. So yeah, it's tricky because you
Yeah.
go in there, I go in there, I'm gonna own it, thinking, hey, they'll love me for it, they'll be
Yeah.
grateful, blah blah blah. And even if they are, which they were, and very
Yeah.
vocally, so
Yeah.
it wasn't enough to make me happy because happy meant sleeping more,
Yeah.
which
And
didn't
if that
happen.
ruins your enjoyment of the weekend, if you're tired and if
Exactly,
it's taking you a couple of days to recover.
exactly.
Yeah.
So yeah,
And I think
it's really
I think the
sorry.
thing is that you can't expect anyone else to respect your boundaries if they don't know what they are, and they
Yeah,
can't know what they are if you don't know what they are.
yeah,
Like you
mm,
have to
yeah,
actually set aside time to decide what your boundaries are,
yeah.
like whatever that looks like, because and we don't, right? Like
No, we
mostly
don't.
we find out where a boundary is because someone crosses it or
Yeah,
we allow them to and
yeah,
then we regret it. So, but if we can take the time out to work out where our boundaries are, then
yeah,
that's not going to happen.
yeah.
So it's
I
yeah,
agree.
being
It's
really
a
clear
it's a
on that.
very, very unusual thing to
Mm,
do, and it's so crucial.
yeah.
Um, to know what is good for me and what is not. But as women, I think most of us have been completely brainwashed into the absolute opposite. Be a mother, be a nurse for everyone, take care. So,
Yeah.
yeah. So
So
this is the align part, right?
this, yeah, that's the line. And then we have pass the mic. So this is about who can you ask for help? Like where do you need help? Where can you It's about knowing your strengths and your weaker areas and
Mm,
deciding on the weaker ones. Like, is this something I want to learn, or is it, and like, who can help me learn it? Or is it something I could outsource so that I can
mm-hmm,
focus on doing what I'm really good
mm-hmm,
at? So there's a bit of playing to our strengths and asking for help and recognizing, A, that being independent doesn't mean you have to do it all yourself. Like it might mean that you're earning the money to pay for someone else to do it, or that it's a bit of a team effort, and that even if you've got a really specific problem that only you can solve, you can still ask for help because that help might be someone picking your kids up from school or someone like grabbing you some bread and milk at the shop. Like the help doesn't have to be directly to the problem. It might be someone that can just listen to you for an hour
mm.
to have a bit of a whinge or to like
Yeah.
brainstorm.
Plus,
So
I
yeah,
actually found out in my life that many times The third solution was not do it at all.
Yeah.
So drop the perfectionism and just not do it. Not pay for anyone else to do it, not do it myself. Just let it be imperfectly finished. And that also works.
Yeah, done is better than perfect
Absolutely.
every time. And I think that's the just recognize, like, if it was really that important, you would have done it already most
Mm.
of the time.
Yeah,
Like, if
yeah,
it
yeah.
really mattered, if it was
Mhm.
going to be a problem that it wasn't done, you would have
Yeah.
just done it. Like the
Okay.
vast
Do you
majority of
allow me another example there?
Hmm.
So, a few years back, I was pregnant with my second son. He's now 25, so yeah, a lot of years back. And I had a very difficult pregnancy health-wise. And in France, we are lucky enough that if you have to lie down for your pregnancy, you get a cleaning woman for free, paid by the state. So that was amazing. The government paying somebody. And after I gave birth and, the baby grew up a little bit, and then the government said, nice enough, but that's done. Go back to doing your own thing. And I was like, no. It was really no, no, I'm not actually,
Yeah.
because I cannot mother this baby and do everything else. So this bit I will let somebody else do. So I hired someone on my with my own money, and we did not have a lot of money, so it was a stretch. And then I wasn't paying her for many hours because we didn't have much money. But so one of the things that I would do myself was the ironing because I was running a B&B by the time. And so
Okay.
a lot of ironing, right?
Mm.
But I thought that I was good at it and I enjoyed it. So I thought, okay, I'm not going to pay someone to do that. I can do that. One day I was late for something for ironing for guests or whatever. And my cleaning woman had just 20 minutes left on her time. And she said, I've done everything else. Is there anything? And I said, yeah, why not? Here's a huge ironing pile. Go and do that. And go and do some of that, basically. I come back after, or she comes back after the 20 minutes is over and she says, it's finished. And I freaked out. It was like, what do you mean it's finished? That pile would have taken me 2.5, 3 hours. She
Wow.
settled it in 20 minutes. So I ended up realizing that I was not paying her, whereas she was much faster than me. So she would do that in. So what I was doing is wasting my time, which is way more valuable because I
Mm.
get paid a lot more than the
Yeah.
cleaning woman, doing something that I'm not good at. And it was
Exactly.
like, okay, forget it. I'm not doing the ironing either.
Yeah.
And that allows me to win back 3 hours of my time
Yeah.
every week.
Yeah.
And that's really worth paying her half an hour more.
Oh,
Uh,
and in that 3 hours you can do so much more. It's
Absolutely.
not just
Yeah,
about the money, it's the
exactly. It's
development.
3 freaking hours. So,
Yeah,
where if I sit in front of my computer and do graphic
yeah,
design or whatever, or coach
yeah,
somebody,
yeah,
it's so much more work
yeah,
done, so much more money
yeah,
in for me. And
yeah.
it was like, but it really blew my mind because I was a little ashamed to give
Oh,
my ironing to someone else. I was like,
yeah.
who are
And this is
you?
the
You're not
thing about
even.
the responsibilities that we feel that we've got, and they are made up. Like no
Yeah.
one's get you've given yourself that responsibility.
Yeah, yeah. In my head, it was really very clear that I was being a lazy person, no, a lazy
Yeah,
woman, if I
yeah,
did not do my own cleaning and my own ironing. So I
yeah,
was a villain,
yeah,
definitely.
yeah.
And and the next episode of that was she's been working with us for 25 years, basically, this woman,
Mm,
and she needs the money. Um, and she loves her job. She loves ironing. She loves so
yeah,
it's a win-win-win-win-win
yeah,
situation that I almost never had happen for her
yeah.
and me because of a stupid idea that I had to do everything myself.
And it's just not true. So I did like a sort of similar story. So I did some manifesting, and the question was like, if you were earning the money you want to earn, this is a couple of years ago, if you were earning all the money you want to earn, how would you live your life differently? Like, what would
Mm,
you do differently? And I love my life. I wouldn't really change it. I live by the sea. Like, I love my life. I wouldn't really change much, but I was like, I would get my hair done more often and I would get pedicures. And
Excellent.
so I was like, do you know what? Like, I can actually afford to do those things now. Like, that is worth it to me. And doing those things means, so for example, having my hair look nice. Well, I've got really thick nightmare hair. Having my hair looks nice means I'm more confident. So I'm more likely to go and like put myself out there doing a live on social media or going to networking and speaking confidently, and therefore more likely to get business.
Yeah,
And having my feet nice means I don't feel weird about taking my socks off at yoga, so I'm going to be fitter and healthier and more mindful and all of those things. So that investment that feels so luxurious and
hmm,
ridiculous that I am like spending out that money as often as I am, it's worth every penny.
yeah,
And it is
absolutely.
just working out like the things I would change in my life are small things like getting a cleaner.
Yeah,
And it is just what are we like we're working really hard and earning all this money, like we should be spending it on the things that bring us joy and
yeah,
make our lives easier rather than like keep
yeah,
taking on everything ourselves. And in the process, like with both of these examples, we are helping another woman with her own business to get
absolutely.
going. And like that's I assume that is part of our shared values that we want to
Absolutely.
we're like right helping other women rise and like building them
Yeah,
up. So
absolutely.
it's,
And
why wouldn't
plus I'm pretty sure that both of us we feel happier in our work having spent that money on something completely different. And that means our work gets better quality. As you were saying, you go out on there on social media and I have more time and and that's just so, but there's, for me, there was really so much shame to overcome on,
yeah, yeah.
at first I didn't even say to anyone that I had a cleaning woman. It was like, yeah, no. I have a huge house. This is a B and b that had at some point 48 beds. And it
Wow.
was like I was
Yeah.
supposedly doing everything by myself, right? Plus raising two kids and having a full-time job as an English teacher. So
Yeah.
it
It's a
was
lot.
like, forget it.
Yeah.
Anyway, so where are we?
So now
Pass
we're
the
on to
mic.
the E. Yeah, that was P. Yeah, so this is elevate with ease. So the idea here is that like once you've let go of some of those or like challenged some of your kind of beliefs about your responsibilities, you've like worked out exactly what your vision is, you've got the extra help where you needed it, which might be going and doing a training course as well as hiring someone to do something. And then, like, once then you've got that nice base and you've got the balance right, then this is when you can start making those dreams come true. And
Mm,
so I
okay.
have my hopscotch. So my business is hopscotch coaching. So I have my hopscotch model to kind of go through how we make that a reality and really and it's hopscotch, so it's all about, which I don't know, is that like a worldwide thing? So hopscotch is a child's game where you chalk on the floor and you're jumping from 1 to 10. So there's 10
Oh, all
steps
right.
to
So
it.
yeah, it
Yeah.
exists in French, but I didn't know the name of it. Yeah, I saw a
And
picture of you on one of those, and I thought, why? Now that I know.
yes, so yeah, that's why. And actually, so I've posted that when I've gone to a few events, and they'll say, come and post a picture of yourself and introduce yourself in the Facebook group. And I'll put a picture of myself playing hopscotch. And so at least one person will always come up to me at the event and say that they remembered me and like they thought it was something different. It's not just another headshot. So my kind of motto is challenge plus fun equals growth. So you need the challenge, you need to be pulled out of your comfort zone a bit, and you
Yeah.
need to
Mhm.
you need to challenge some of those beliefs about like I have to do everything and it's my responsibility. So you need that challenge to grow. But if it's not fun, then as soon as you
Yeah.
hit your first hurdle, you're going to give up. Or if
Yeah.
it's too boring. So it's about like bringing both those elements. So I thought of this earlier. So when we were talking about how people recognize if they're in the drama triangle.
Hmm.
So when I teach a training called I teach coaching, and I will bring that idea of challenge and fun. So when I can see that someone's getting into the drama triangle, I will call them out on it, but we do it, it's like a game, like so I'm not gonna let it pass. And then I'll challenge like, how could you reframe that question? Like what And
Hmm.
what could you have done differently? So I always bring in that challenge, like no one's getting away with it, but
Hmm.
it's always done in a very like fun and light way so that they don't feel that I'm not the villain, they're not being told off, they're being challenged so that they can
Yeah.
grow. So and I think that's the thing with any growth. You need that. It's not just about like accountability and cheerleading. You need someone to say like, but okay, so you said you're going to do this, but like, but when by, or what else
Hmm.
could you do
Yeah.
to, take that a step further. So that's that elevate with ease. It's like once you've cleared up your life and got those boundaries and got that balance, then the elevating and getting up to the next level and the next thing that you want becomes so much easier.
Hmm.
But whilst you're still being everyone else's hero, your own dreams are going to be the first thing that
Yeah.
goes to the
Mm.
bottom of the list when someone else needs you.
Yeah.
So you have to work on all of that stuff first.
It's so interesting because I was thinking about another example of in my life when at one moment in my life I was having a very difficult time that I'm not going to go. It's too long right now. And my mom said I was having a conversation with my mom. I was 40 something, and she said you have to be the villain in this. You have to be the villain because you have to say no. Um, and I know that you feel like the villain, but you have to say no. And I'm understanding now, talking to you, that actually, in that circumstance, and in many circumstances, saying no does not make me a villain.
Yeah.
Saying no, I will not be trampled by other people's needs, desires, and sometimes it's not even their freaking needs, it's their desires or their personal convenience. And the instant that I say no, I do not become a villain. I just become a
But this is
trustworthy
another
to
belief.
myself.
It's another belief
Trustworthy.
that
Yeah.
it takes a lot of rewiring, and it takes very purposeful, conscious rewiring to say like,
Yeah.
oh, it is okay to say no. Because
Hmm.
again, this is another thing, like we see that all the time. Like it's okay to say no, and consent is important and boundaries are important. But when it comes to actually putting them in place, it's not as simple as that. So we talked about the drama triangle, so that's villain, victim, and hero. But the empowerment triangle on the other side of that
Hmm.
is the victim becomes the creator, so the creator of their own destiny. So instead of just waiting for life to happen at them and people to make it worse or people to rescue them, they take charge.
Hmm.
And then the hero becomes the coach. So this is about kind of guiding them forward and encouraging them. And the villain becomes the challenger. So they're where maybe
Hmm.
you felt like saying no, felt like being a villain. Actually, you're challenging them. Like, how could you do this for yourself?
Hmm.
How could you do, like, what would you do
Yeah.
if I wasn't here?
Yeah. Mm.
So it's, yeah, that's where we want to be instead.
Yeah.
All the
I love that.
C's.
So coach, creator, and challenger.
Yes, well
Yeah,
done.
thank you. Learning here. I love that. You seem to be a person that has a nice play with words as well, creating these frameworks that are, very easy to remember. And I think that might be also part of why it works. It's because if it's easy to remember and repeated, because I think so many people believe that, oh, once I understand something, it's done. But it's not. You have to go at it again and again and again. So the easy cape words and the triangles, I think they're easy to remember. And I'm guessing that is helpful as well for people to repeatedly make themselves aware of what fucking game they're playing, basically. I love
Yeah,
that.
yeah,
Well, we have been talking for 45 minutes almost, so I'm going to
yeah,
go and
spot
ask,
on.
is there anything that you wanted to add that we've not covered? Uh,
Yep. So just to say, so if this has landed with you and you're realizing that, like, oh yeah, I'm probably doing a bit of this, I have a free 5-day challenge that you can sign up to. Obviously, we'll have the link in the wherever it is, and you're sent an email every day with some reflection questions and with a small challenge and there's a Facebook group where you can come for the community and share
Yeah,
how you're getting on with those challenges and
yeah,
support each other as well. So yeah, we've dropped the link in the comments. So it's the five
of course
day
we will.
Take Your Cape Off challenge.
And what I think is I'm going to go and insist on that because what I say to my practice is that it's about the doing. It's not about the thinking or believing or understanding. It's about the freaking doing. So if anything of what we've said landed, and I can't believe it wouldn't actually, because we've just talked of 5 examples, but I could see in my life or in my client's life or, in basically any women, so many examples. We've not even gone close to what I teach and practice a lot, which is this is founded in the patriarchy. It is, for women, it's even worse because it's kind of it's part of our God-given mission. Let's put it this way, to be in this drama triangle.
Yeah.
So yeah, I cannot believe that no one would feel concerned. I think you're
And
going to
I
have a
think,
lot of
like,
work.
just on that note, just as a to finish it off, I think, we're all very aware of mansplaining, but that is essentially what this is about. Like, us as women doing it and leaping in to the rescue too quickly,
Hmm.
which is exactly what men are doing when they're mansplaining. They're not
Oh,
waiting
that's
to see if you want
interesting.
help, right? They're just coming in with it.
Yeah,
And we are guilty of it too, and we need to take responsibility for that.
absolutely. I love that. Well, so we are going to buy ourselves a cape and then destroy it, right?
Yes. Yeah. Go burn those capes.
Awesome. Well, thank you very much, Chloe, for coming and having this conversation. I hope we do meet again in real life. And so, for our dear listeners, let me remind the any information about Chloe is going to be under, over, or around this video or audio, including her invitation to her 5-day evergreen challenge that you can take. And please hear the word challenge as a nice one. This is not a
Yeah.
hard thing to do, but it is an invitation to get out of your comfort zone, I think, because nothing ever happens in our comfort zones, as we know. Thank you so much. I will
Thank
talk to
you.
you soon. Bye for now.